Good morning. So, what I wish I knew about money in my 40s, which I wish I knew like years ago, would have helped. But hey ho, I've realised it now, and I'm here. Good morning to you all. So, the first thing is this: having a salary, it's not enough, is it? Let's be honest. Unless you're on mega bucks, you're not really cutting it, are you? Right. So that's the first thing. Like if I could go back 10 years ago, I would have, if I had known this information 10 years ago, boy, would I have really done my best to make things different. And I know I can't go back now and I can't change things. But if I wanted to have the freedom, which I've always wanted, I wish someone had said to me, do you know what, Rhiannon? You really need to look at things differently. Don't be tunnel visioned anymore. Stop thinking about how you were brought up and how you were educated and actually think outside the box. And things, boy, they just would have been different because I'm like that. Once I know something and I believe in it and I understand something and I run with it, that's how I am, right? So definitely would be number one. Don't focus on having just the one salary coming in. Look for alternative methods to create multiple streams of income. I would look at assets more. Now, don't get me wrong, I have had properties in the past. Situations and circumstances basically meant that I had to sell. So I don't own any property anymore, which I'm gutted because now I would have been mortgage free. That's the painful bit. But like I say, things happened. Things I definitely did not know were going to happen that I thought that I would have seen come in. Um, you know, it's the way things are. I was meant to be on that path. I was meant to learn a number of lessons along the way. And boy, did I learn some really painful, hard lessons and so forth. So I don't have assets anymore. But that doesn't mean I can't change that, right? It's going to take me a bit longer to get there. But my plan is to start investing in property at some stage, at some point. So for me, I'm looking at getting into property again to basically help boost me with a pension pot. So when that property over time gains equity, or if it's a rental, that sort of thing, then that's my choice, what I'm looking to go into, something that you would call real estate in America, for example. So that's something that I have got in the mind and I do want to get into at some stage again. But yeah, so I definitely want to go back into that. I think having a plan is definitely something that I think you need to think about because leaving having savings isn't enough anymore. And I don't actually have any. I don't have any savings. That's the scary part at my age. I should have savings. I should have assets. And I don't. And I'm relying on one stream of income, which I know I have learned. I've definitely had my lessons learned about having one stream of income is not enough. And that's why I've been in this stuck situation. I'm in this predicament, which I'm now changing. Don't get me wrong. Um, but having one stream of income is not enough anymore. As I say, there's very few of us out there that are earning really decent money and can happily say they live comfortably and they don't have to worry about their bills. There are very few people that are in this world that have that lifestyle to live comfortably. And that's my goal, is to be comfortable, to be happy, not to stress over, oh my God, have I got enough coming in at the end of the month to pay my bills? And then, heaven forbid something happened, like my car breaks down again, then I got to pay out for something again. It's like, where am I going to get the money to pay for that? So definitely relying on one stream of income is a no for me anymore. I have started an online business, as you know, in travel, which I absolutely love anyway. So it's a passion of mine. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like a hobby. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But when you do something you love, it isn't a job, is it? It's not like a chore. It's not like you're doing the dishes at home or ironing. So yeah, so that's basically one of the things I just wanted to share with you today, is about the realization about when you get in your 40s. Yeah, I wish I was taught this in school. It just goes to show our education isn't what it should be, right? And I know that's a conversation for another day. I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but it highlights how bad things are, and how we're encouraged to be, shall we say, when we grow up. So the real lessons, like I say, is security doesn't come from just one paycheck. Security comes from having multiple streams of income, ultimately. Money isn't everything, I know, and I know I talk about money quite a bit, but money gives you options. And what I mean by this is, I'm not just saying about paying bills. If I had money in the bank, I would have left a toxic relationship a lot sooner than I was able to. I didn't have anywhere to go. I don't have family to rely on. I don't have the option to just jump in a car, or do you know what I mean? I didn't have the money, so I had to suffer the situation that I was in at the time. Not healthy, not good, not good on your mental health, your physical health, etc. Okay. If I had money in the bank, if I had enough money there that I knew was coming in, I could have upped and left. Do you know what I mean? After trying to make something work and realizing the situation wasn't going to change. Saving alone is not going to bring you freedom. You need to build assets. And that's why I mentioned property. There's other things out there that you can look as well as assets. Up to you whether you go into stock, shares, whatever. But side hustles as well. The amount of millionaires out there that have multiple streams of income, and I'm not just talking about just one extra sideline. A lot of millionaires have between 5 and 7 multiple streams of income to become a millionaire. So they rely on other businesses to bring in that money, to give them that money to total up to becoming a millionaire plus. And growing it. Also things like having digital products and starting a YouTube channel, right? So that's why you need to start thinking and doing outside the box. You can't just rely on that one salary anymore. You can't just rely that your pension is going to basically help to support you when you're looking to retire. As I've always mentioned, it's about freedom for me. I don't want to be stuck behind a desk job, 9 to 5 grind for another 22 years until I'm legally allowed by the government to retire, where I can apply for retirement. That fills me with absolute dread. The thought that I'd only have X amount of days holiday per year if I stayed in this job for another 22 years is not good enough for me. I like exploring. I like travel. Happily able and wanting to go abroad and travel, but also work from the locations that I'm in, as long as I've got Wi-Fi and PowerPoint, so I can make sure I've got enough charge in my battery, then happy days. I can get on with stuff as well. But that's the thing, it's the beauty of that, is having the flexibility. And I love to be flexible in that sense. I love to have autonomy. I hate being dictated to. I'm very much a free spirit. Don't get me wrong, I'm not off the rails or anything like that. I mean, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. And even if I had money, I certainly wouldn't do those things because it doesn't interest me. I'm not that type of person, right? Not knocking it. You do what you do, basically. You do what's right for you. But for me, if I had money, I would be off somewhere now. I would probably have a couple of properties, definitely, even as well, like a holiday home down in West Wales, potentially a holiday home maybe in Spain or somewhere within a 4-hour flight time. I would also have already travelled to Jamaica X amount of times because I want to travel right around Jamaica. That's still a massive, massive dream of mine. And it's going to be done. It's going to be achieved. And I am going to document it and you're going to see it. I 100% believe that. 100% believe that. I know I'm going to be there. I keep having this image of me walking around and walking down this particular beach. And it's in my head. It's been in my head for years. And it's not because I'm delusional. I just randomly get these visions in my head about things that I'm doing. And I don't even know how I'm going to get there. I don't know why. Some of the things I get in my mind all the time consistently. Nothing in conversation to trigger it. This is a conversation for another time because I'm probably going to freak a lot of people out. But let's just say I get spidey senses on things. Intuition is another key. But yeah, I get random strong feelings. I wish I was more in tune with stuff, and no doubt I will be over time. I think life helps you become more in tune, becomes you more intuitive. But I also get feelings on things, and I wish I had believed them more. I wish I'd listened to my gut feeling more. because it told me so much at so many times and I ignored it. I just thought it was me being silly. I thought it was me being paranoid or whatever the situation. Okay, so that's a topic for another time. But I'll just give you an example though of one of my recent feelings that I had. So I won't say where, but recently somebody I was around, I looked at her and I just thought, you're pregnant. And she doesn't look any different. But I just had this feeling and it was in my head constantly. I could not shake this feeling that this individual was pregnant, right? And I'd seen her over a course of a number of days. And it was getting stronger and stronger, this feeling that this individual, and it was actually with me all through the weekend. And then when I saw that person again a few days later, I said, I got to say something, and I'm not saying it to offend you or to upset you, but are you pregnant? And she went, how did you know? And I said, I don't understand, but I just got this feeling. I can't shake it. I keep thinking you're pregnant and I don't know why. And she said, yeah, I am. I just found out. But I had this feeling before she even knew she was pregnant. And she's only about 4 weeks gone. So she's very early days. And it's her first pregnancy. But she's like, but how did you know? I said, I can't explain it. I said, I just kept thinking you're pregnant and I could not get it out of my head. It was with me every single day. I didn't say anything at first because it was just like, I don't want to upset you. And she was like, no, I understand. She said, but I said, but I can't help it. I said, I had to say something because I just want to get it out of my mind because I'm driving myself crazy. And she said, no, I am. It's her first pregnancy and she's just found out. So I had this feeling before she even knew. So that's just an example of my weirdness. I don't know why. Sometimes it happens. I would love to fine tune it on so many things in life, but hey, I've got to learn lessons, right? That's life, isn't it? You've got to learn things. Otherwise you can never grow from that experience, and be more educated with life experience, shall we say. So yeah, so that's just one of my weirdnesses. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so for me, like I say, going back, you need to really think outside the box more. If you want freedom like me, you've really got to look at what else can I do that is going to help generate that freedom. So hence why I'm building multiple streams of income, right? Because it's going to take me time, and I'm not delusional. I'm not expecting it to be a quick fix. There's no quick fix. Unless you win the lottery, there's no quick fix. I'm not aware of anyone that's going to be giving me money for inheritance purposes. Not aware of that at all. I've got a very, very small family anyway. And yeah, majority of them are on low paid jobs or don't work. So I can't see that happening. They don't even own property, right? I think building multiple streams of income right now has given me a boost. It's also given me kind of like a new lease of life. Even though I'm doing more at home, I'm more focused than ever before. Creating this YouTube channel, I absolutely love. And yes, it takes a bit of time, but I enjoy it. And I find it therapy as well. Like, it's very therapeutic. But because I'm having these multiple streams of income now that I'm building digital products. I'm building a system behind the scenes as well that's going to help me be a bit more organized and help me with my time. That's still up in the air a bit because computers as they are, as you know, I've mentioned before, I've got a very old laptop. That's not helping either. And I do regularly update it when there's an update, a system update. I always regularly update it, but it's just, yeah. When I have the money, that's one of the things I will be updating or upgrading, because I need to be able to be a bit quicker with things, and it does slow you down. And it's so frustrating when you're very limited on time. But hey ho, it's life. Things are meant to be the way they are. So I go with it now. I'm not going to stress myself out too much. And as frustrating as it is at the time, and the plan didn't quite go to action or go to plan, as it were, didn't the action that I had planned for that day, I just got to learn to deal with it. I'm human. Yes, I was frustrated and I felt like I just wanted to chuck my laptop across the room, because twice now I've tried to do the same thing and the same thing. There's an error, there's a problem, there's a whatever. I can't download this, I can't transfer that file, and oh my gosh. So I'm going to try again tonight and see if I get anywhere, and I'm just going to keep trying until I get it done. Simple as, these things are meant to happen when they're meant to happen. I'm putting in effort, I'm trying, so it's not like I'm sitting there and expecting things to land in my lap. I'm taking action. I'm trying to be positive and creative and do things in the right way. But it's just going to take time, and I've got to accept that. It's never too late to change your relationship with money. I think you've got to think of money as energy. When you're paying bills, say thank you. I'm trying to remember his name. There's a Japanese guy. He wrote a book. I think it was called Happy Money. It's a yellow covered book. I can't remember his name. Lovely guy. I've watched some YouTube videos and interviews on him. I've read most of that book. I can't even find it, which is why I never got to finish it. Probably because it was during one of the times I've moved X amount of times in my life. But I started to read his book when I was away, actually on holiday once. That's the only time I get to properly read now, just with everything going on. But I do enjoy getting into a good book. But there's a book he created that he wrote, and it's called Happy Money. I'm sure it is. It's a yellow cover. Please Google search it. There's well-known platforms that you can buy books on and things. And as I say, a Japanese gentleman. And he basically talks about whenever you pay a bill, say thank you. Be grateful that you were able to pay that bill. I know you may hate it, you may not agree with it, but just change your mindset on it. Change how you see things. It's an exchange of energy. Okay, physically it could be tangible. You could hold that money in your hand, and yes, you could probably use that for umpteen million things extra or towards something else. But the fact that you're able to pay your rent, your mortgage, your gas, electric, if you're very lucky to be able to do that, just say thank you and appreciate that you're able to do that, because there's so many people that cannot. There are so many people that don't even have an income coming in and are struggling and are getting further into debt. So again, I'm saying this out of love and respect as well. But he teaches you about the energy of money and about being grateful for it, because the more that you're grateful, the more that you will attract back. So it's like, it's a transaction, isn't it? So whenever you help or do something, or like for me, I like to buy from local people, like small businesses. I like to buy from charity shops. I like to see what's in there. I buy books from charity shops. The last purchase I actually made was a vase for my kitchen. And, I always try and think outside the box about where I'm going to find something, where or what I can actually put, what little money I have at the moment, into something that's going to help benefit someone else. I will always try my best to share people's businesses, support them online. So I got to keep changing hands because my hands go tired and my arm. But it's just like, start where you are, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Ultimately, put an action in place. Think about what matters to you. What interests do you have, and then how could you create something out of that to generate money? An online business, digital products, a YouTube channel. There's so many things out there. There's other options out there. Google it. You've got all this at your fingertips now. When I was in school back in the 80s, there was no Google, there was no internet that you could utilize and gain information from. And certainly at the speed of what we can gain information at now these days, it's amazing. And now we have AI. Now, side note, AI, I really enjoy using. I think it's very good, very, very helpful tool. However, as technology advances, I do believe there will be some changes in jobs. I'm not saying they're all going to go, and I'm not saying this to scaremonger you. But this goes back to the point about having one salary coming in is not enough, and it's not security. When AI advances to a certain level, depending, of course, where you work, because clearly AI cannot physically treat a patient like a nurse or a doctor or a surgeon. But if you're working in an office environment, AI is coming in, guys. You can be in denial as much as you like. once AI is invested in and it starts to be used in the working environment, in the office environment, there's going to be less physical jobs available. So yes, there'll be a need to have some staff, but there won't be a need to have as many staff as there currently is right now. So this is why you need to start thinking outside the box. Don't just assume that because you've been in a company for 10, 20, whatever years, that you're still going to have another 20, 30 years left before you can, you retire. I really wouldn't hold on to that. Up to you what you do. It's your life, your choice. But unless you're going to inherit and you're destined and you definitely know 100% you're going to inherit enough money that's going to be able to sort you out for the rest of your life so you can retire or whatever, I would really strongly advise that you go and look into other alternatives. Create multiple streams of income. You don't have to come to me and join a business and travel. You do you do what's important to you. But I'm simply saying this as an air of caution that I would certainly look at things that you're going to be able to do and build around your full-time job, because you never know when things are going to change. The building, the company I'm in, it restructures when it needs to. There's been a massive restructure that's happened. It started last year. Things finally started moving in the direction that it needed to make savings. And so we're doing more work with less staff. And they have started introducing AI. So, like I said, you've really got to start thinking for yourself, guys. You've got to be selfish. You've got to think about you, because if there was a change and if they decided to make redundancies or whatever, there's a massive change and you're no longer needed, or I don't know, your hours get cut, that's still going to be a loss of income and money coming in. So unless you can survive like that and live like that and pay your bills and everything else, you've really got to start thinking about what else can I do that I can start now, and build around everything else, because you need to have that as a safety net ultimately. So if I could go back 10 plus years ago now, I definitely would have created more streams of income. If I was able to have invested in something, I would have. If I could have had property, okay, my situation was what it was, but I did try. I'm going to revisit that when I'm in a position I can do that. Once I'm debt free and I've paid all that off, then I'm going to start looking at other things, sensibly. I'm not going to just jump into anything. I will do my due diligence. I will do my research, etc. So those are the things I would highly recommend and suggest you all to look into. And just keep going, guys. We all get our off days. Me going through the menopause is an absolute nightmare still. But again, I take each day as it comes. I never know what day I'm going to have. I never know what night I'm going to have when it comes to sleep. I didn't do too badly with sleep last night. I only woke up once, which was good. And then my alarm went off at 20 to 6 this morning. So, yeah, I know I'll be yawning my head off probably by lunchtime, 2 o'clock, whatever. I normally get a bit of a lull by then. A real tiredness comes over me. And then I'm like, right, okay, I start feeling like this then. But I get up, I walk around, I go to the loo, I make a cup of tea, I will do something to try and wake myself up a bit to keep going until I can walk out the door at 5 when I finish, and then head home to then focus on my business and go from there. So that's generally how I am on a daily basis. And weekends are the same. I've always got a plan of action. I've always got things to do. I'm always on my game. Plus I got things planned this weekend as well, and it's a bank holiday, so that means I've got a 3-day weekend instead of 2. So that's fantastic because I can be more productive. I'm also going to meet up with a friend of mine on Saturday who I haven't seen in over 5 years, and she lives in Kent. So we're going to meet up. She's traveling to Wales, which is brilliant. She's got a relative here, and I'm going to drive quite a way to her to meet her there because I appreciate her thinking of me, and having a catch up over a coffee. Simple, wholesome things, guys. That's all it's about. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It really doesn't. But I appreciate the effort that people make, and if they make an effort for me, I will make an effort for them. Hence why I'm going on this long drive on Saturday. But it's all good. It's all good. So it'll be worth it. And when I'm actually driving, just a bit of a side note as well, I play things, I listen to things in the car that I like to feel motivated by, inspired by, gets me thinking about business, gets me thinking about other things. So I listen to podcasts and things, and I listen to YouTube. I play my stuff, as I'm driving, and I just listen. And you'll always hear something, you'll always pick up something every time. And I could potentially listen to the same podcast even, or YouTube interview, and I'll always pick up something different. I'll always learn or hear something different that I didn't hear before. So that's one thing I do notice as well. So on a an amazing side note, guys, you've been fantastic as well. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your time and your support on this channel. Let's keep this channel growing, guys. Please give it a share, love, like, whatever you want to call it. Subscribe. I'm still trying to get used to all the terminology. I can't even speak again. Here we go. But on that note, guys, have a great day. Stay blessed. And I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye, guys.